I'm back. Thank you for staying with us on The Big Question. I will reintroduce my panel to you. To my immediate right is the chair of the Political Parties Liaison Committee, Wavinya Ndeti. In the middle is a man who's not afraid to brand himself tonight, Jubilee, Stephen Kariuki, who was elected on an ODM ticket, the member for Mathare. And across from me, Dr. Collins Odote, a lawyer. You're all welcome to the program. Stephen, as you're popularly known as K1, yep. You're rather brazen tonight, donning properly a Jubilee T-shirt, doing that in spite of the fact that the Political Parties Act is clear that you should not be associating with another political party while having been elected on a separate one, that you cannot hold two, you cannot belong to two political parties at the same time. Why so bold without a formal resignation?
And I believe this country is run under the Constitution. And the Constitution gives me every right as a Kenyan to associate with any legal organization, any person, any political party I would like.
But you are specifically governed as a politician by the Political Parties Act, yes, which prohibits you, as I have just mentioned, from being the member of more than one political party at a time. Yes. Are you now not saying to the country, all and sundry, that you're a member of Jubilee?
I am, and I stand to support the Jubilee Coalition and what it stands for, and President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election, and I will defend my seat on a Jubilee ticket.
And yet you have not written a formal resignation letter, have you?
No, I haven't.
Why haven't you done so?
Because the time is not right.
What time would be right? You're already in the T-shirt. What better time than now?
Better time is when the 90 days that were given by the law. That is the legal framework, that is the legal timing, and that is when I'll write my resignation letter and make sure I'm out there campaigning for President Uhuru and for myself under Jubilee.
Are you not being duplicitous to the people of Mathare who elected you on an ODM ticket? That is the member that they deserve, a person who represents the ideals of ODM.
I have consulted my people of Mathare constituency. We have actually had this engagement. As you see, over the weekend we had several activities in Mathare. There was the ODM rally and there was the Jubilee rally that I personally led. I have consulted my people and they have given me their blessings to run on a Jubilee ticket, and I'm more than certain that the Jubilee manifesto and the Jubilee government carries the aspirations of my people of Mathare constituency.
And yet you're referred to right now as the immediate former member of Mathare. Do you sit here effectively as such?
I'm referred as the immediate former member by ODM members, who are still my people. So I'm still going to work for them, but when it comes to my political career, I have chosen this path.
Wavinya, what do you think of what you've heard so far? Does he just simply lack the courage to resign?
For me, the law is very clear. If you decide to advocate issues of another party or join another party, you should be able to resign from your current party. Yeah? Go for re-election on the party that you have chosen to go with, and that is the law. The law is very clear.
He's breaking the law.
He's breaking the law.
What can you do about it?
The party can take disciplinary action. First, the party should use the internal mechanism. The parties have their own constitutions. What should be followed first is the party constitution to discipline. And then after following the party constitution to discipline, you report to the registrar of political party and IEBC.
ODM has
and they should be able to take action because the law is very clear.
ODM has written a show cause letter today to members such as Stephen seated here. Is it an exercise in futility, knowing full well that, you know, we're so close to a general election, it's quite unlikely that we're going to see by-elections soon, you know, so close to a general election? Is it an exercise in futility?
I think, and it depends on what the party intends to do. Because the challenge that K1 is in is a challenge that has also been caused by the indiscipline within political parties. And maybe just to retrace the step a little bit, K1 talked about the Constitution. Actually, what is happening is covered not just by the Political Parties Act, it's covered by the Constitution. Because Article 107 of the Constitution talks about circumstances under which a member of a political party can lose their seat. And one of those, which is important for this discussion, is called deeming, that you are deemed to have resigned, that it requires no practical action for you to write. It requires that somebody else deems that because of your conduct is such a manner that you have, for all practical purposes, deserted us as a party.
And so in that scenario, then who should be taking action against Stephen seated here? Is it the clerk of the National Assembly who should go ahead and declare his seat vacant?
Until around June this year, that was the controversy. The controversy was that everybody used to say the buck passes here. You go to the political party, they say we're asking the registrar to take action. You go to the registrar saying I'm asking for the political parties. In June this year, when an amendment was made to the Political Parties Act, now it says it is the political party that takes the first action. In accordance with this constitution, it takes the first action to say, not to expel you, not to remove you, but to say that your action is such that we are deeming you to have resigned from a political party. Having done so, they then write to the registrar. And the registrar's duty, being satisfied they have complied with the constitution, is then to remove you from the membership list. And
which is why I'm asking whether ODM's actions today, Wavinya, are in futility, because they have not asked members, they have not said directly to members that, you know, we are deeming you to have formally resigned. They're asking for an explanation as to why they should not be punished.
The law is very clear. The party should be able to follow. The parties themselves have their constitutions. What does their constitution say? Yeah? How do you deal with someone? Apart from the law, there is what you should follow as a party. Yeah? You either call the person, you declare a dispute, yeah? You call, you try to see if you can, there's a procedure. He's a lawyer, but I'm saying there's a procedure that needs to be followed. Once you follow that procedure, and the National Executive Council and the Governing Council have decided now you don't need to be in that party, they write to the, you know, there's a constitution. The party constitution has to be followed. Once, because all parties have different constitutions. Once you follow your constitution to the letter, then you write to the registrar of political parties. Once you write to the registrar of political parties, then she should be able to take action. If she does not take action, then you take her to court, you sue her.
But what beats logic for me, you are proudly Jubilee seated here before the country. What's so hard in just writing a resignation letter and getting over and done with? Are you afraid of going to a by-election?
I'm totally not afraid of going to a by-election. Actually, if it gets to that, I'm willing to stand by Jubilee and defend my seat on a Jubilee ticket. But the law gives me up to 90 days before the general election to be able to choose officially the party that I'm going to defend my seat on.
But you see, you're already in ODM. You are elected through ODM. You are still, unless you have resigned, you're still a member of ODM. You cannot advocate policies for another party.
Actually,
otherwise you're deemed to have resigned from that party. The law is in black and white. Yeah.
The law doesn't give K1 90 days. The changes that were made to the law says that 90 days to an election, everybody must have settled within the party they want to be in that party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody must have settled.
Yes.
But the choice for you to make is you can move at any point in time. The only thing is that is the cutoff. So it isn't as if you must wait until 90 days. If you take action which deems you to mean that you have moved, even if it is 96 days, the logical thing is for you to move. And I think, Anne, it's important to have this conversation in some context. When the MPs were debating the bill on party hopping, they're all very unhappy about parties that are undemocratic. And I think it's a legitimate concern. But I think moving forward, we need to ensure that democracy and discipline is both ways. It's both within parties and also within individuals, and that it happens across the entire electoral cycle. So it doesn't make sense, in my view, for people to at one instance say that you should not leave our party after nominations, yet before nominations I can leave without leaving. I think we must go the entire hog.
Who needs more teeth? Is it the registrar of political parties to act whether or not parties formally write to her? Because as you can see, we're going around in circles. You know what the law says, nobody cares.
But the party has to act.
And what if the party does not want to act? What if the party is indisciplined? What if the party in itself has poached members from elsewhere and so is not holier than that?
That is why we are going wrong with political parties in this country. Political parties should be run as institutions, and we are not doing that. It is high time parties in this country established themselves as institutions and followed the law to the letter.
What can your institution do? Is there anything you can do about this? The parties liaison committee, about the indisciplined political parties?
You see, with even the party liaison committee, we do not have regulations yet.
Wow.
And
these regulations went to Parliament. They have been there since for the last 2 years. The registrar of political parties has not even bothered to go. You see, it's as if there is no goodwill in this country to make sure that political parties work the way they should be working.
We thrive in disorder.
With the political party, if we had the regulations set, we would have had even now proper elections. You see, we're just holding it for the time being. But once the regulations are out, then we are able to go again for elections, elect members with a new regulations. So someone telling you there is a PPLC, there is no, it is there, but there are no regulations. So there is not even an office. There is nothing that is going on about PPLC. So let nobody cheat anybody here that we are there, but just there. PPLC in this country is not working. Political party liaison committee doesn't work, and I can tell you the registrar has made sure that
I'm tempted to ask what is working.
No, but even if PPLC was working, and I think it's important to keep things in the proper, the role of PPLC is not to discipline parties. Political parties liaison committee, by its nature,
we are supposed to have free and fair.
It's about consultations between themselves and the registrars. So I think for me, the two parties that are at the heart of this process is the political party itself and the registrar of political parties. I think that's the two institutions. And in the past, everybody has been passing the buck. Because it is convenient for political parties, they will complain today when it is K1, but they won't complain when it is somebody else. And they would rather...
going to join them.
Exactly. And for both sides. That you want to complain about your opponent, but not the ones joining you. But two, that you want you don't want to make the decision, and you want the registrar to make it. When it reaches the registrar, she also would like somebody else to make it. And I think that's the
registrar. Ma'am, let me come to Stephen. Okay. What grieved you so much about ODM? This is the party that got you elected. You actually trumped a TNA candidate to get this seat. What went so wrong?
Basically, it's the policies of the party and the differences where, as long as you're an independent thinker in ODM, you have no room. As long as you're not a sycophant, as long as you don't do things in a certain way that are preferred by the leadership, you have no room. Now, in 2013, the TNA candidate actually won the Mathare election. I won, and then it was nullified for some other reasons, and the TNA candidate was sworn in Parliament. I went, I fought it out in court, and ODM was actually going to take me back to a by-election. If it wasn't for some other unorthodox means, I would have had to go back for a nomination process before going to the by-election.
Are you saying you used unorthodox means?
Within the party.
What unorthodox means? Pray tell.
No, I mean, that's what I'm telling you. ODM was not... as long as you think independently, they have no room for you. If you're not going to follow the sycophant rules, they have no room for you.
So what were the unorthodox means?
We had proper differences with them.
Did you prefer to be a sycophant then to get a ticket? What was the unorthodox means?
Not really. I had to use like other people to come in and negotiate on my behalf with the party from Wiper and Fort Kenya before I was given my nomination.
Negotiate democracy.
But my own party was going to take me to a nomination process after fighting in court on my own for us to go back to a by-election.
Lavinia.
Is a remark.
What does mean?
As Lavinia thinks, I think the point that this demonstrates is, and for me it is at the heart of the indiscipline and immaturity in our politics, that politicians across the board are happy to go through things in an orthodox manner as long as it is to my favor. When it's against me, then I complain. But we can't have a system which is based on unorthodox, because when it's unorthodox, then rules don't apply.
Precisely.
So we must be able to commit ourselves as politicians and as political parties as a country that we are going to apply rules.
Precisely. And that is why I've chosen to join Jubilee.
Let me ask you, if we are not disciplined, how do you expect our children to be disciplined.
I truly
You see,
do not know.
what is happening now, I'm sorry even to go back, what is happening even in schools is what these children are seeing out here. If we cannot be disciplined in our political parties, in our political careers, how do we expect our own children to be disciplined?
What's the way forward for you, Dr. Reed? What's the way forward?
I think what is important in my view is that institutions and systems that we put in place must work. And it must work by the basic things. If you look at, for example, what has now been set for the next election, several basic things. The first one is that nominations must be conducted only by members of the political party. We hope to see that in 2017, only members of a political party will line up or will go to cast a vote, because that's the first stamp of discipline. The second is to ensure that the kind of thing that K1 is doing now is brought to a stop. If you look at the West, for example, look at the challenges in the US. People are unhappy about their party, but they aren't conveniently showing that they are members of the other political party. You sort out your difference internally. For me, that's the kind of, the third thing is that the office of the Registrar of Political Parties, number one, must be strengthened. Number two, must be able to carry out a mandate in a much more effective manner.
How do you strengthen it?
You strengthen it by several things. You strengthen it by the number of staff you have. You strengthen it by the resources you give it, and you strengthen it by ensuring that you hold the person who is the registrar accountable for exercising her mandate. Do
you strengthen it by appointing formally a registrar of political parties, rather than being in this acting position which you've been in since time, God knows when?
I think so. I think the process of ensuring we have a substantive register of political parties must also stop being a circus. We must bring it to a halt and ensure that whoever it is who is getting appointed must be formally appointed and we have a register.
K1, you have no remorse for the people of Mathare, the ones who really believe in ODM ideology, who elected you principally because of that?
I'm serving them as the Member of Parliament. I serve all people. Even when I was elected, I served TNA members. Even when I was elected on an ODM ticket. Even now that I'm supporting Jubilee, and I'm not supporting Jubilee for the sake of it. I'm supporting Jubilee because I've seen they have committed to having systems in place. They have committed to the development agenda of this country, and that is the ideology that I share with them. Now, on that note, even elected on a Jubilee ticket, I will still serve even the members who choose not to vote for me because I left ODM. I will still serve them as their Member of Parliament.
Well, Vinya, I want to put to you a peculiar question as your winding up remark. So you're running to be governor of Machakos, is it?
Yes, I'm running to be governor of Machakos.
On what ticket?
Chama cha Uzalendo, CCU.
What has Alfred Mutua not done?
There's what he has done, but there's much that he has not done in Machakos County. And what is in Machakos County is that he has been doing things that are not priority to the people of Machakos County. And when you're elected to do what the people want, not what you want. You must be able to implement. You must tailor yourself. Whatever you do in your budget, everything you must tailor it according to people's needs, not your needs.
I thank you.
And that is what has happened in Machakos County.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you for having us.
All right, we're taking a short break. We're back with more after this.